Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be sharing 4 spring console table looks. I like to do this for every season, and of course I had to bring it back for spring to provide some ideas on how you can style your entryway. I always like to start off sharing where my entryway items are from. The mirror and the runner are both from Amazon, and my console table was a very lucky Facebook Marketplace find. It is one of my favorite pieces and I don't think I will ever get rid of it. And the ottomans are from Target. I also really like these. I've had them for years and I absolutely love them. For the first look, I'm going to start off with this lamp that was in my guest bedroom. It is from Target and I love the shape, so I decided to place it on the left hand side, and beside that I added some coffee table bugs and then placed an easel that I purchased from McGee & Co. I love using this to display art. It's just a very fun way to use art and style it a different way, and the frame that I'm using is from Zara Home. Since I had a lot of height on the left hand side, I wanted to bring it down a little bit by using a tray that I purchased from HomeGoods. I wanted to display a candle, and then beside the candle I just added a candle snuffer that is from Amber Interiors. And of course we have to add height to the right side, so I added some coffee table bugs since the vase that I'm using is very low. And this vase I did purchase from Amber Interiors. It has such a beautiful patina on it. It does have a funky smell, but I don't mind it. I think it looks beautiful. And inside of the vase I did add some stems that I purchased from Michael's. These are very affordable. I believe they're $2 each, and I did use 6 of them.
Have me wondering why I feel like home. I hold you close so you're by my side till the end of time.
I always like to include some sort of texture in my looks, so I did add a throw blanket. This one is from Cottage & Key Home. I don't think it's available anymore, but you can just use any blanket that you have, as well as any items that you have that look very similar to mine. You don't have to go out and purchase any of these items that I'm using. The idea of these looks are for you to get inspired and just use items that you have around your home that are very similar and just placing them in the same layout.
Glad you came. Glad you came. Glad you came.
For the second look, I wanted to do something that I don't usually always do, so I decided to head over to Trader Joe's. I stopped in to see what fresh florals they had. Since it is spring, I did have some florals in mind that I will be using for another look, but while I was there, I saw these beautiful purple flowers. These are actually French lilacs, which are just so stunning. I immediately placed them in my cart. I will say that fresh flowers are very expensive, especially since they don't last, and I really wish I could preserve them. If you have any tips on preserving lilacs, please let me know down below. I placed them in a glass vase. This glass vase is from Temu. I did place it on top of a book, and these are very messy and I actually really like the look, so I shook them a little and had some of the petals fall off, and while I was placing them in the vase, a lot of them fell out, so I collected them and just decided to scatter them around the vase. I personally love that look. It looks very organic. Next to the vase, I did place a frame with some art. The frame I did purchase from HomeGoods. Since I had a lot of rectangular shapes going on, I did bring a round piece to this look, and it is my wooden riser from Olive Atelier, and I did want to have another little candle moment here, so I placed a candle and then just added some matches, made it look very lived in. I didn't want to add too much height, so I wanted something very low, and the matches were perfect, and I of course had to add a few petals here too. Now to finish the whole look off, on the right side I placed a lamp that I DIY'd myself. For the coffee table bugs, I did lean them against the lamp. Since I already had a book placed horizontally, I wanted to switch it up and place this one vertically, and I also wanted to add some height next to the candles, so I went ahead and went with my bell hooks. These are from Luxby Co, and they are my favorite to style with. I wanted to add some sort of texture to this look, so I switched out one of the ottomans and placed this basket from McGee & Co, and I did use that same throw blanket from the first look. So I initially had gone to Trader Joe's to pick these flowers up. These are wax flowers and I had used them for my daughter's birthday party and really liked them. They're also more affordable than the other ones that I had used. I feel like they look so designer and high-end, so I placed them in this McGee & Co planter. I did place some books and I wanted to style something different that I had never styled, so I styled a little clock. This one I recently purchased from Amazon and I really like it. I don't really see this anymore, but I think it's so cute. It adds a vintage touch, and since it had a little brass detail on the top, I did want to pull that out a little bit more, so I placed the bells that I had on my bell hooks and then just leaned them right there on the book. As you can tell from my looks, I like to have varying heights, and art is a perfect way to layer pieces and add height, so I did add this frame from HomeGoods. Again, we are going to be layering pieces, so I did add some candlestick holders. These are my favorite. They are from Zara Home. I did decide to keep the lamp from the last look, and then just to add a little bit of warmth, I did place a wooden bowl from Cottage and Key Home. I placed it on top of a book and I feel like it completed the look.
Pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. And I think to myself, and I'm thinking out loud, we won't need nothing.
For this last and final look, I am going to be using some new pieces that I picked up this year, starting off with this vintage vessel from the Vintage Rug Shop, and I did place some stems that I purchased from World Market. They are so beautiful and sparse, perfect for this vessel. I also added a book next to it to add this base on top so that it can be sitting a little bit higher, and then next to that I am going to be layering some art pieces. I started off with a bigger art piece from Hobby Lobby, and then that same frame from the first look that is from Zara Home, and last minute I decided to add my clay beaded garland from June Laloy just to add some movement and texture. And since I'm not going to be using a lamp in this look, I still wanted some sort of height, so I went with these candlestick holders that I did purchase from HomeGoods recently. I did notice that the white ottoman was clashing with all the warm tones, so I decided to switch it out and instead use this other ottoman. This one is also from Target, but it definitely ties all the warm tones together.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in long conversations. Oh, 'cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken, 'cause you glue all the pieces.
Let me know down below in the comments which one was your favorite look. I really hope you got lots of inspiration and ideas on how you can style your own space with items you already own and just switching out the layout to give it a fresh spring look. I really appreciate all of you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.
I was never the one to give up the ghost. No, I was so stuck. I kept on playing my part.